We're only a week removed from the start of the college football season. Week 0 is on the way. It is time to do Alabama's official 2025 schedule prediction. Stick around. Let's talk about it. Let's have some fun. This is Way Off Sides. 3, 2, let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. I don't know when you're watching this. Could be with your morning cereal. It could be at 1 a.m. while you're laying in bed stressing out over something. Who knows? Let me put your mind at ease. You have shown and found yourself at Way Off Sides, the best damn Alabama show here on YouTube. We're the best they've got to offer. You don't have to go anywhere else. You found it. You have found the mecca of Alabama football information. We've got everything you need. We do everything everybody else does, just a little different. You can and will leave a big roll tide in the comment section as well. Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Got a ton of news coming up over the next couple of weeks as we push it even closer to the start of the 2025 season. Obviously, fall recruiting will be a big deal. I got another video coming out later about an edge that Alabama has been in contact with, somebody that you're going to want to pay attention to. I know a lot of people are worried about that edge position in this recruiting class. Alabama's not done on the recruiting trail. You can hit the notification bell. You may have to go into your settings and turn it on, which is fine. It only takes a second. Go ahead, do it now, and then come back. Okay, you back? Good. Awesome. Let's talk the 2025 season expectations. I use that word a lot when we're talking about Alabama football, and for good reason, because Alabama football remains still the most recognizable brand in college football. Now, without Nick Saban, do they still, let me see how to say this, do they still uphold themselves to the same standard of excellence as they did for 17 years under Coach Saban? The answer, that's elephant for yes. I've said for weeks that I feel like Kalen DeBoer can make Alabama his Alabama. So Kalen DeBoer's Alabama with Nick Saban standard, and that standard is still there. You still got guys who played for Nick Saban who are passing that standard down to kids that haven't. And some of them are going to be leaders on this team, Ty Simpson, Deontay Lawson, folks like that. So I think the standard is still there. Combine that with brand recognition and the talent that Alabama has on this roster. I really do feel like Alabama is in a really good place this fall to make a run at a national championship. A lot of folks disagree with me here, and that's okay. You don't have to agree. I don't care, to be honest, but sound off in the comment section below before we even get started. Tell me, who are you most worried about on Alabama's schedule? Who are you not worried about at all on Alabama's schedule? I want to hear you. Be loud and proud. Moving into this schedule, it's a little weird with starting off on the road in Florida. That's always traditionally, at least in the past few years, Alabama has not played well down there in the state of Florida. I should say down here because I'm in Florida. Alabama has not played well in the state of Florida. You can early on in the season, you can blame that on a lot of things, just it being early in the season, humidity, all sorts of things. However, I just feel like this one's different. Let's start off talking about FSU. FSU fans kind of got a jolt of excitement yesterday when they found out that Jam Miller was going to be banged up and not make the FSU game. He won't play in that game. I don't think that matters as much as they like to think it does, for the simple fact that it's Alabama. Alabama has the most stacked running back room in the country. Now, I'm not saying that with bias. I'm actually removing my bias. When you look at Alabama's running back room, you've got, 2 5-star guys back there that are backing up Jam Miller. And so I don't foresee that being a huge problem out of pass protection. But when you look at the folks Bama's bringing into Tallahassee, I still think that Alabama is likely to try to control that game on the ground, and they will pull away late. Once they get a little comfortable, Gus Malzahn and Tommy Castellanos are going to throw everything they can at the Tide. But I mean, look, you don't go from 2-10 to beating Alabama overnight unless you're Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. So I really feel like Alabama starts off strong there with a big W down in Tallahassee. Then the Tide go back home to where they'll face Louisiana Monroe. I think we all know how that one will go on September 6th. Staying at home following in week 3, Alabama brings in Wisconsin. The Tide went up to Madison last year. Wisconsin's quarterback got hurt early. He did have a successful drive against Alabama's defense early on in the season, but this is going to be a different monster for the same reason that Kalen DeBoer is working his team out in the middle of the day to get them ready for the heat down in Tallahassee. Wisconsin has got to come down to Alabama and play on September 13th. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. And I think that will play a huge role in this game. In the long run, I think conditioning will win out for Alabama as well as roster. Alabama's a lot deeper than Wisconsin. It may be close for about a half, but Alabama's going to win that game. Then the big one, the Tide start SEC play, potentially getting Jem Miller back by time they go over to Athens and face the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I think what's going to be interesting about this game, this is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I think Bama could be potentially ranked in the top 5. Obviously, Georgia as well. By the time we get to this point, game day atmosphere, Athens is going to be rocking. They're going to want their lick back for what happened in Tuscaloosa last year. But I just don't know that Georgia has all the pieces necessary to get this done. What I'm hearing from people who have been who are at this fall scrimmage, folks like Josh Pate, who actually saw the product on the field, this offense is the real deal. This is what we expected last year. And you bring in Ryan Grubb, Ty Simpson, this offensive line are doing a phenomenal job. And so based off of that, I don't know that Georgia's going to be able to score enough points to beat Alabama, even at home. Bama's really had a little issue going over there and beating Georgia. The last 2 times they played in Athens, they beat Georgia in their stadium. They beat Georgia in Atlanta. It's not that intimidating of an environment for the Tide. I could be wrong. I think that one could potentially be a coin toss. I think that they're in a very similar situation as Alabama, especially with Gunnar Stockton being their starting quarterback. But I have a lot of faith in this Crimson Tide offense as well as the secondary. Josh Pate last night on his show was hyping up that secondary, and for good reason, for very, very good reason. So those two things combined lead me to believe that it's going to be hard for anybody to beat Alabama this year, whether it's on the road or at home. Now, Alabama's get-back game, October 4th, Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia come to town. Clark Lea is going to have some special things in his bag because, what's better than beating Alabama at home, beating them at their place? Not going to happen this year. I think that Kane Womack will probably have this one circled. There will be a defensive plan in place to manage Diego Pavia. Alabama does have the pieces across the defensive line and at the linebacker position. I don't think this one is even close this year. So right there, right off the bat, we're talking 5-0. Following that, Alabama's going to go up to Missouri, up to Columbia. Missouri, very similar to Wisconsin in the sense that they're going to be okay, especially going up there on the road. Not that Missouri is an intimidating place to play, but we're talking mid-season game on the road here. I think the Tide get that done. I think they get that done. I think it'll be close for about a half, and then they pull away. The big thing here is not looking ahead to the 3rd Saturday in October because following that week, you get Tennessee at home. Now, this is not the Tennessee of last year. That's not to say that they can't air it out. They lose some guys to the portal. Obviously, they lose Nico. He goes over to UCLA. But I feel like it's still a rivalry game. You're bringing Josh Heupel and company into Tuscaloosa. This is one that I would circle. I do not think Alabama loses this game. It is rare for Alabama to lose to anybody back-to-back. So in my mind, I really do feel like Alabama gets their lick back here. Now, the one that makes me nervous is South Carolina. This game is going to have a ton of hype around it. South Carolina feels like they have gotten over the hump Shane Beamer's a good coach. Lenore Sellers, assuming he's healthy at this point in the season, we're talking about week 7, week 8. He could do some amazing things. He can. South Carolina's got the pieces to make some noise. Don't forget, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but South Carolina was one of those teams, along with Alabama and Ole Miss, that everybody was talking about deserved a playoff spot last year. On the road, very intimidating environment, right before a bye week, right after kind of a little bit, I don't want to say gauntlet, but the meat of Alabama's schedule. I think Alabama could potentially drop this one. Now, here's the thing, and I know people are like, they're not going to lose to South Carolina. You want me to say they're going to go 12-0. Nobody's going to go undefeated. That is not college football anymore. Most people that are in playoff contention will lose at least 2 games, and Alabama's not going to be. I mean, we're not talking about the NFL here. We're talking about kids who are at the college level. It's going to happen. They're going to lose a game. So if I've got to pick one on the schedule, I pick South Carolina or potentially Georgia. Now, following that week, you get a bye week to prepare, as tradition, to prepare for LSU, who's coming to the house in Tuscaloosa this year. I'm not buying the LSU hype yet. Now, when I see it on the field, yes, then I will buy into Garrett Nussmeier. I'll buy into these wide receivers. I'll buy into this run defense. But I don't think LSU is going to be able to slow Alabama's offense down. LSU had one of the most porous defenses in the SEC last year, much like where we're talking about FSU. That is going to be a big problem to fix. And honestly, their run defense has been a problem for a couple of years, and it hasn't gotten fixed. So I'm going to give Alabama the W there. Now, another game that could potentially go sideways for the Tide is bringing Oklahoma into Tuscaloosa, although again, I just don't see Bama losing back to back. So finishing it up, you've got Eastern Illinois coming to town. That's kind of a gimme, a prep game for the Iron Bowl. And then on November, 29th, 28th, I think, Alabama will go to Jordan-Hare Stadium and play Auburn. Auburn, I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but Auburn is going to be a better team this year. I don't know that they'll be good enough to make a playoff run, as much as their fans like to say they will be. But that is a scary game, just for the fact this is going to be Kalen DeBoer's first time going to Jordan-Hare. We all know how that goes. That place is cursed. And so I would not be surprised if Alabama dropped the Iron Bowl this year. I don't think they're going to. I think we're looking at an offense that can beat anybody. So, yes, give me Alabama in the Iron Bowl. So, overall, I've got Alabama going 11-1, going into the SEC championship, playing Texas and beating Texas in the SEC championship. And they will be they'll get a first round bye in the playoff. Thursday night, we're going to do our live show. We're going to do our playoff prediction, preseason playoff prediction, as well as go ahead and pick week 0 game. So don't miss that, 8 p.m. Central Time. But I've got Alabama going 11-1. I think the loss could come at Georgia, at South Carolina, maybe slightly at Auburn. So pick one of those 3, your poison. Tell me, out of those 3, who do you think Alabama would be most likely to lose to? Tell me Alabama's record prediction and what you think will happen. Thanks for sticking around with me. You guys are the best. I'm telling you, man, this squad's got me really, really excited. They do. Offensively, I think Bama could potentially field a top 10 offense and top 10 defense, which would not bode well for the rest of college football. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.